Yeah, it's been tough because obviously, we've been in South Africa, we got affected a little bit later than everybody else. So for us, our lockdown only started towards the end of March. So for me, I was in Turkey training with Team Energy Standard, and long story short, we had to get out of there from, I don't know what date it was exactly, around about the 15th. We just had to take a flight out because Turkey was going into lockdown. So when I arrived home, everything was still normal, but everyone was very wary of the fact that South Africa was going to probably enter a lockdown. So what happened was I probably had about 5 days, maybe 6 days max before they shut the whole country down. So pretty much from whatever the date was, I'm not sure exactly, towards the end of March, we have been on complete lockdown, So what I did was I flew from Cape Town to Durbin, which is about a 2-hour flight. I have an apartment in Cape Town, which I live in with my brother. And Durbin is where my family home is, which I am now. And just been, I thought it would be the government said 3 weeks, and now it's, what's that, 12 weeks later? We're in March, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, almost 4 months later, So, it's been quite crazy.
And what about training? You been able to get in the pools?
Yeah, you see, so what happened was I was training, I was actually staying at a family friend's farmhouse, about 36 acres of land. We had a huge property. I was very, very lucky, actually. And, he had a pool which I could swim in, not a big pool, obviously. But it's coming into winter in South Africa, so there's no, obviously, heaters or anything. So, we trained while we could. And then what happened was I actually went for an operation 1 month into lockdown. So on the 1st of May, I actually had an operation, which was a long overdue procedure I was supposed to do after Olympics. But I thought I'm going to be out of the water for 3-4 weeks. I might as well use the time wisely. So, I had the operation, double operation, and just was recovering. Probably much got back in the water. I'm just looking at a calendar here. Probably about 2.5 weeks ago, I started swimming. So, but I mean, when I say swimming, I mean literally 400 meters for the first week because I still had stitches in my stomach. So, underneath the skin. So I couldn't actually do any course. I was literally just doing like some sculling and super light kicking with a pool boy and paddles. So I've only been swimming for probably about 5-6 days now properly, I'm talking like actual, aerobic training or, 3,000, 4,000 meters, a day, trying to.
And now where will the training continue in the next weeks to come?
So my plan at the moment, we're waiting for the everything to be lifted. So we're in a lockdown now where certain people are allowed to go back to work. It's a weird thing, right? Long story short, swimming isn't on that list. It's crazy. I mean, football, hockey, running. I mean, someone messed up in South African swimming, right? So, it's ridiculous. We're not actually allowed to swim. So at the moment, I think in the next couple of days, it's going to open up properly, So, we have a private place, which, we've been able to swim a little bit, again, nothing crazy, 30 minutes, 40 minutes a day, nothing more than that. So at the moment, it's been quite tough, like I say. And hopefully we can open up soon because we actually haven't got a proper pool open, So, yeah.
So are the pools been maintained? Are they ready to go? When?
No,
you don't even know that.
No, that's the problem. That's the problem. So like, I haven't had any proper training since March, right? So I have actually been doing, I've been jumping around places. So I have obviously, I have a lot of friends in Durbin, and if you drive along the coast, there's a lot of people that have private homes and private houses. So it's a bit of a drive away. So I've taken an hour and a half drive sometimes to go swim in the 25-meter pool. Obviously, it's quite cold. The water is 21 degrees. I'm not sure what that is in Fahrenheit, but not warm. So we're making do with what we can at the moment. I'm doing a lot of land training. I've gained a bit of weight, but I'm healthy, and the main thing is everyone's staying positive. The family's good, and once I get back in a proper training, hopefully that's soon. I'm hopefully going to go back to Turkey in the next 3 weeks. So hopefully that will be the kickstart of my my Olympic season, so to speak.
and with your health, no surfing lately, or open water, or it's cold, or it's not in the equation, or have other
Yeah,
people
you see,
gone to open?
that's the problem. You see, we can't actually swim in the beach, because the beaches are closed. So we can't even swim in the ocean. We have beautiful oceans. It's quite warm. We're from the Indian Ocean here in Durbin on the east coast of Africa. So the water's quite warm even in the winter. Today's temperature was 21 degrees, 22 degrees. And that's winter, you know what I mean? Usually in Cape Town, where my brother and I stay, it's 5 degrees. So just to show you the difference, it's a very tropical type of, even the winters aren't very cold, but the water still remains cold. In the evenings, it drops down below, 14, 13 degrees. So at the moment, not able to swim properly. If this was summertime, it would be easy. You know what I mean? I have a lot of people that have pools, and I could just go stay there and train there, but yeah, it hasn't been the easiest of times for us South Africans.
So then, what does the pathway to the Olympics look like then? Do you have an understanding? What are the big hurdles? What's in the future, in the months to come?
Yeah, so for me, look, I'm just I'm doing what I can. I think at the moment a lot of people are stressing because South Africa isn't in a great place in terms of the virus, in terms of people training. So like for me, I'm just I'm basically doing what I can. I'm actually in the gym every day. At home. I got my medicine balls, got my stretch cords, got my all my bands and big Swiss balls. So I do a lot of core every day. Training as much as I can, trying to go once a day to those guys' houses to swim, but it's not very easy. Obviously, to spend 2.5 hours a day in the car isn't easy. But other than that, I'm just eating, trying to eat good. It's a couple of birthdays, so a lot of birthday cakes. That helps. But other than that, it's been quite well. We've done what I can. I can't. I mean, what else can I do? I can't sit around and sulk and mope around because that's only going to make things worse. So I'm just staying positive, doing the minimum, and hopefully soon we'll be able to open up and do things properly again.
Yeah, excellent. I think you're in the same position as most people in our area around the world. It's really been difficult. So, let's flash back to maybe your younger brother, Jordan, right? He
Yes.
hasn't been swimming. Is he in school? What are the younger people in South Africa doing?
Yes, at the moment, what's happening is only the final year of primary school. So the year 7s, which is basically the 12 to 13-year-olds, go back to finish their school to go to high school. And then obviously the year 12s, the 17, 18-year-olds are writing their final exams, because our year starts in January and finishes in December. So it's not like your guys, because our summer is obviously the opposite to you guys. So our years are, normal January to December. So the final years are all going back to school at the moment. Obviously, social distancing, everything's getting sanitized, and so I only know because my godson, my sister's child, my nephew, he's actually in final year, so he's he's 13 now and he's going back to school. So it's quite crazy at the moment. And my brother is 22, so he's not obviously not doing any school, so he's just kind of been at home and working on a few things. He does jiu-jitsu, a bit of MMA, which is he does combat sports. He's also started making music. So yeah, he's going to release some songs in the end of the year. So he's working on that. So it's actually been quite good for him. But I haven't been doing much, unfortunately.
So then when you go to Turkey to train, what's the coaching situation, and is it with the ISL, or explain what do you think will happen there in the again?
Yeah, I think, look, I'm very lucky. I think for me, so I was with my coach Graham Hill for 17 years. After Olympics, it was obviously I wanted to have a change, so we decided to try something different. I didn't have a coach for a couple of months, so I kind of swam by myself for about 5 months, and then Energy Standard came. Actually, my manager found Energy Standard. They were interested. Obviously, I was very interested. It was something new to me. It's a new challenge, and I was happy to go overseas and just try something different. I've been living at home with my family for as long as I can remember. Even I'm 28 years old. I'm a very, as you can see, my dad came to say hello. We're very family.
Right.
So, to be honest with you, even just being in the lockdown has been great for me, just to be at home with my parents, and I've actually loved it. It's been really awesome. So for me, it was a big change. End of 2016, I moved out of my home city, Durbin, to Cape Town. I bought a place for me and my brother to live. And then I would go part-time to Turkey every, let's just say home for a month, Turkey for a month, home for a month type of thing. I had, whatever it was. So I spent about 3-4 months overseas. Then recently I decided, for Tokyo, I wanted to move permanently to Turkey just to train. So I've kind of made the move full-time to Turkey. Obviously during this COVID, I haven't been able to do anything. But my coaching situation is I have a head coach, James Gibson, who runs the program for Energy Standard. I have two other assistant coaches who work with the team. So, I like to look at it as I have 3 coaches working with, obviously James is my coach, if you want to say on paper. But I have Tom Rushton and Delano De Silva, both from Canada and Brazil. And I have a gym coach, he's from Italy. Marco James is from England. We have a physio from Ukraine, another physio from Italy. So our team is, and we have a Ukrainian doctor. So we have a full, international team, and I think it's, I'm very, very lucky to be a part of that. I'm obviously, I've been there, I've been one of the longest members now, nearly 4 years. It'll be at the end of this year. And, I'm team captain. So it's a huge honor for me. And, I have such great teammates and I really love my coaches and I just love the environment that I'm in. I'm very blessed to be in that. And, it's very different to what I'm used to. You know what I mean? I come from South Africa. I come from, a much different upbringing than, most people that are, let's say in Europe or even in America or Australia. It's a different culture of swimming here in South Africa.
Well, what do you mean by that? Explain, the roots of the South Africa. I know you're very loyal, but
Yeah. So what happens is, look, I love my country. I love everything about it. I just think, firstly, the facilities. We don't have the world-class facilities that America has, and all the big powerhouse swimming countries. But I think, just the fact that funding has always been an issue for the South African swimmers. Look, I'm very lucky. I have international sponsors. Omega, Arena Discovery that look after me, and I'm not speaking on behalf. I'm speaking on obviously behalf of myself, but also on behalf of the teams. To make a living from swimming in South Africa is virtually impossible unless you're an Olympic champion. Even as a world champion or a world medalist, guys are still scratching around for sponsorship and still have to study. I mean, not to say you have to study, but you have to, even maybe get a job one day, doing something. Whereas I know, like in other countries, you can make it a full-time profession for the time that you're doing it. You make smart investments, you do your thing. But I think for us, the platform that we have is quite harsh, if I could say it in that respect. But flipping it on another side, it is what made me who I am. Coming through this system, a harsh system where, just to give you an idea, like, I come from a club where, I swam with a national coach. We had, we have a facility. You still got a facility, which, I mean, I can send you pictures, right?
I've seen it. Yes, right.
Yeah, I mean, you can say how you want to say, look, and that's not knocking him. He's tried his best. Graham tried his best to upgrade the facility, but it's not easy in South Africa. So facilities are hugely undervalued here and not well maintained. I mean, our national center, which is supposed to be where we race nationals, the pool is absolutely it's like brown green. It's going to take like 3 weeks just to get that back up and running. All the heaters are clogged up. Like, it hasn't been maintained. So it's just different. It's different cultures, right? So it's an uphill battle right from the beginning, if I could say that, with respect. But also just culturally, I think we're not known for swimming. I think after London 2012, when myself and Cameron won gold, that's when it started changing, But like before that, it was like people didn't really understand swimming, didn't understand that it was even a sport. And now everyone's like, okay, swimming. You know what I mean? So, if you look at the numbers, I mean, we have about 3,000 to 4,000 registered swimmers each year. Our country is about, let's just say 60 million people, right? That's a small number of people that swim. I mean, in America, forgive me if I'm wrong here, I think you guys are about 350, 400,000 registered swimmers, if I'm not mistaken, right? And that's just, and even more, and there's a lot of people that swim. I mean, I know a lot of the guys, especially down in Florida at the Hall of Fame, a lot of guys even some South Africans that swim there in like a master's program. We don't have that in South Africa, so that's even way more than that number. So, for every gold medal that we've won, pro rata, we actually won the best swimming countries in the world. If you look at it like that, for the small amount of numbers that we have. So, there's a lot of problems, I think, in the system. But yeah, I'm trying to make some changes myself. I started an academy, I started a foundation. Unfortunately, my academy had to close down due to the corona, I think it was quite tough because, sometimes, I've been overseas and I've seen what it's like, and it's very, very nice, and everyone has their everything sorted out, and I come, at Energy Standard, everyone is, I have the best of everything. I have the best facilities, the best coaching, food, everything, and then I come home and I see some of my teammates, my local teammates, that they can barely go training sometimes, because, for example, the heaters aren't working this week, or the lights are off, or it's just a bunch of different things, which I think other countries like America, Australia, UK, whatever you want to call it, aren't necessarily used to. Sorry for talking so long there.
No, I want you to talk. That's why we're here to listen. So tell me a little bit about your academy and the foundation. Where do you see that going? And, we're going to get beyond this virus. It might take more months than we hope, but, in a year or 2 or 3, what's your focus there?
Yeah, so my plan always from young was always to open up something like that. Obviously, when I was coming through the system, I saw, let's say, the holes and the flaws that there were. I'm not knocking anybody in particular. Yeah, I'm just saying this is how it is. And then like for me, we're a poor country. I see a lot of people suffering, especially through this corona. So I've always, my dad has done such amazing things with charity over the years. Whether we've had money or not. And I think it's just something that was always close to me. So we started the foundation and the academy to give back to the swimmers and just to help create a platform for it to be better, with better, I don't want to say better coaching, but just a more fair start. Let's just put it that way,
Very good.
So yeah, it's been really good. It's been open since April 2018, so just over 2 years. So it's unfortunate we've had to kind of close down or press pause during this time. But I think with my foundation, we've raised a couple of $1,000, not too much. But what we're doing with that is we're putting it back into the system, into the swimmers that need help, need help to go overseas, to go racing. Communities that are struggling, that have swimming pools, that we're putting coaches, hopefully, on pool deck, to help teach the kids for free. We're funding that. So from that side of things, we just want to help educate the people in the communities through swimming, which can help them, get off the streets, stop doing drugs, stop saying drugs, help them, get a better sense of the word discipline and understanding of, let's say, life outside of swimming. You know what I mean? So it's like a 4th step. So we've got a lot of plans which we wanted to implement, but obviously without a proper budget, it's very hard, So we've tried to get a lot of corporates, to donate and stuff like that. But it's not, for me, I'm not the kind of guy that likes to say, hey, come give it to my academy. You know what I mean? It's not about that, because for me, I like to show the goodness that I'm doing rather than receive, because for me, I'm very blessed. I have, like I say, I have sponsors that look after me. I have an amazing family. I have a lot of fans around the world in South Africa. So I just want to give back and just spread a bit of good around, because I feel like, especially in today's times, we need positivity, man.
Definitely. So one thing I can't understand as a coach, so how much of your club coaching when you were young was also associated with the school, the Westville Boys School? Was that all at the same place, or was it different?
No.
How did that coordinate on a typical year when you're a youngster?
So when I was young, what I would do is I swam with my coach for a long time. So I started off at a junior school, Penzance, and the teacher recommended me to Graham, and basically we were traveling quite far because I was living in the town, Durbin, the city, and it was a little bit on the outskirts and 30, 40 minutes away or whatever. And then obviously we moved back up here when the swimming started getting serious, when I was about 13, 14. And yeah, I was swimming every day with Graham. We had a really good setup there. We had such a great thing going for a long time. And then, Westfield Boys High, that was my high school. So I was going to high school and then traveling to training. It was all kind of close. It's about 10 minutes from my house, 5 minutes to the pool. So the little triangle was about 15, 20 minutes all, triangle route. So it was really easy for me. The school was really great. They actually named the pool after me.
Yes.
So sweet. I'm very proud of that. It's a big honor for me, to have my legacy continue, So, yeah, it was really cool. And my brother obviously was there. So, yeah.
And the academy isn't necessarily at that school. It's just going to be.
No. So you see, my academy is actually in Cape Town. So I started that in Cape Town because Durbin is actually the hub of swimming. So Durbin is like where all the great swimmers have come from over the years. And, because it's very tropical. I don't know, for whatever reason, it's always hot here. It's just, you can see my tan just from being in winter, it's really cool, yeah. So yeah, Cape Town, I wanted to just start it up and take it further from there. My goal was to reach, 10 swimming clubs in the first 5 years. That was my goal. Obviously, that's, kind of, shut down a bit. But like, just to kind of set up centers where, starting at grassroots levels, taking it through to an intermediate phase. I wasn't ready for the elite stage yet. I don't want to do things half-hearted, you know what I mean? So for me, I wanted to make sure that I had the right coaching, the right people involved. I had an amazing coach that was running it, and I had great people behind it. I had really, let's say family type people running it. So we were in close communication, weekly to see how the kids were doing. I'll check in and, it just, it's quite sad that it's had to kind of shut down now. So yeah, I didn't even get a chance to say goodbye to most of them because obviously COVID came, I had to travel. It was just kind of like everything happened within seconds. And then I had to, my hands were kind of tied, because even now legally, no one's allowed to swim in South Africa, which is crazy. You know what I mean?
Right. Now, traditionally in South Africa, are a lot of the coaches also school teachers, or how are they connected all, with the profession? This is sort of where we are with, the association interested in helping education and helping, with coaching and enrichment.
Yeah. So how it is basically there's a lot of swim coaches, like at schools and, PE lessons and stuff like that. So there's a lot of qualified coaches. In terms of elite level coaching, there's only a handful of coaches around the country which have their own private, they run their own private, let's say, clubs. It's not government run. From what I understand, there's not much help from Swimming South Africa. Again, I'm not sure. I can't speak on that behalf. But you run it like a business. They get paid monthly, and you pay your bill. You go train, and some people are better than others. It's just the usual way it works. But I think it's not really. We don't have universities like you guys have. There's one university in Pretoria, which is Tux. They run a cool program. That's where Tatiana's coming out of. Tatiana Schumacher. She's the breaststroker girl that got silver last year and turned. So she's from there. So she's coming through that system. I've always been just private coaches type of thing, and that's pretty much how it is in South Africa. There's not much. It's not a university type of country. It's like we have really good universities. We have really good schools. We really do. But it's not like, you guys have college football, college basketball, crazy stuff like that. College swimming, NCAAs, it's so wild. It's like amazing. It's like huge. It's like televised. Like in South Africa, we have like rugby, which is televised in like at a university level. But it's nowhere near the capacity of you guys, 50, 60,000 people coming to watch a game. We have like a couple of thousand max, you know what I mean? So it's just different, in the sense of sporting codes.
So you spoke a little bit about university and long-term. So have you been studying? What are your professional goals long-term? You stay associated with the sport, but do you have any other career expectations or long-term study?
Yeah, so what I did was, so obviously in London 2012, I just finished school, kind of the year before. And, I kind of took a chance and I was supposed to study sports management, sports science. I was quite keen on that. kind of pressed pause on that. And then obviously I won the Olympics. It became a bit of a roller coaster. I didn't study the year of 2013. So, long story short, I don't have a degree or I haven't studied at all. I've been pro since I was 16 actually. But I have been actually recently doing some online classes, just for my personal, for business life, So I've got a couple of things which I've, which I have goals for afterwards. Obviously, swimming for me, I think, is my main focus now. Obviously, I like to do things. I don't like to do things half-hearted, but I am currently doing a couple of studies. I'm studying a bit of sports management now. I've got a couple of friends that are in business, which we're going to start some things together, hopefully in the next couple of, in the next coming years. But yeah, just for now, it's really swimming. I'm not really doing much in the sense of, study-wise. But yeah, just during this time, I've been trying to learn a bit of French also, just some online classes. Nothing crazy.
Beautiful. Yeah, that's what we would expect or hope or dream for you, to keep this path going. So now, what about Tokyo 2021? The big challenges ahead. Will there be some big milestones? There has to be some other races coming up, and then to Tokyo. How do you qualify to represent South Africa again?
Yeah, absolutely. I have to qualify in April every year, during nationals. So it's just a national meet. I just got to qualify, do the time, and then pretty much going. We'll see what happens. I mean, first things first. I hope the Olympics happens. Regardless of if there's going to be a crowd or not. I think it's imperative that the Olympics goes on because, you know how it is. You're a coach. You know how hard the swimmers have worked to get there. So swimming is not a sport which you can, with respect to other sports, make the final pass in the football or just get on the team. Like, this is an individual, hard-working sport where it's a lot of hours. So I'm very excited. I'm very focused. Obviously, as you know, I've got tough competitors in my events, which I'm very excited. I'm relishing those challenges actually. So, I'm just focusing on what I can do better. I'm 28 now, and I feel like I've a lot of experience at the big meets, and I'm just excited to race. I feel like my biggest asset, when I compete is the fact that I just like to compete against the top guys. I really enjoy it. So for me to race Caleb and the 100 fly, it's awesome. Like, I would do it for free at home type of thing. You know what I mean? It's not like I'm doing it for anything else. So I really enjoy that challenge. And I feel like Caleb, Christoph, Seto, Andrei Minikov, a lot of guys are ahead of me, and Caleb's a great guy. I actually met him last 2 years ago at the short course, and he's got a lot going for him. And I think for me, just personally, I'm just excited to race, and regardless of what they do, I'm just gonna, if I can do some PBs, whatever that is, and get on the podium and challenge for that gold medal. Whatever happens. We'll see what happens on the day.
And you're going freestyle, you're going butterfly, you're going IM, you're going anywhere, right?
Yeah, I think at the moment, unfortunately, I've had a groin injury for a long time. Not many people remember I came fifth at the 400 medley in London, and that was almost after groin surgery, So I've struggled with this for a long time. Unfortunately, I'm not able to do some breaststroke anymore. Kind of the physio said, listen, leave that dream alone. Okay. I think I'd have a mean 200 medley. I think if I could get that back, if I could get that breaststroke back. I mean, my short course meters, I was what, 357, 2 seconds off Lochtey's world record, Seto's world record now. I mean, that was back in 2013. I was 151 short course, so I've got a decent medley. Unfortunately, can't do that anymore. But the freestyles I'm focusing big time on. I think the 100 freestyle in years to come will be a big event for me. 100 freestyle, 100 fly. I think at the moment I'm focusing on my 200. Look, I'm gonna have another crack at that 200 fly, 200 free, 100 fly. Those are my big races, for next year. I think. Of course, I'm not sure. You never know. Maybe I start swimming well at the 400 free or the 100 free, and I have to look. You never know what happens. I feel like I was a breaststroker 10 years ago. I could barely swim butterfly. So before I had my injury, I wasn't great butterfly. So I think I train everything. I kind of I sprint, a lot of endurance. I work on technique. So I feel like I have a big arsenal. Especially short course also. in the sprint and the middle distance. So I think we'll see what happens, We'll see what happens come next year. I'll try to qualify for as many races as I can next year. At the trials, I'll swim 400 free, maybe swim a backstroke just for fun. See what happens.
Excellent. So I think we're about done. But
no rush. Sorry, I just said because I got a couple of things going on tonight with my girlfriend. Sorry, no rush.
Right. Well,
no rush at all.
Do you have any slang words to teach us in the States, of South African, or how many languages, or let's. And then I was going to ask a little bit about some fun music that you could give us a pointer or two on. But any good words or translations or thoughts that sort of embody the vocabulary.
Yeah, so South Africa is a very diverse country with a lot of cultures, a lot of races. They call us the Rainbow Nation for that reason. So we have, I think it's over 10, I think it's 10 or 11 languages in the country.
Yes.
So going through school, you have to learn a lot of different languages. I think each suburb or each state has their own slang. A lot of the guys say, for example, we say, hey, my brew, which means, hey, my brother. Hey, my brew, you grab a Coke there, my brew, come for a bra. Bra is barbecue. So there's a lot of different words. Each state, if you go to like the Eastern Cape, they say the word like, hey, man, that was lank hard. Lank meaning like that was crazy hard. That surf was lank good. It was amazing good. Like they use that word all the time. And then you go to Cape Town and it's a little bit more Afrikaans infused. If you go a little bit more north in Johannesburg, it's very Afrikaans, very Dutch. So they speak a little bit with a stronger accent. They speak like this, when they speak English. So, I got a bit of a mix. My family, my mother originates from Mauritius. So I have a French heritage and my mom is South African. So she's Dutch, Afrikaans. So I'm a complete mix of, languages. But yeah, I think there's a lot of really cool languages and things. I learned during school, I learned Zulu, which is, what the local people speak. Afrikaans, which is like Dutch. I obviously had to learn a little bit. My girlfriend is Afrikaans. I still haven't learned the language fully, so she always kills me with that. And my mom, obviously. So, but I'm actually learning French at the moment because, like I say, coming from Mauritius, I want to get in touch with my, my French roots, and obviously my team at NG Standard. We have a couple of French swimmers, so it'd be great to communicate with them a bit better.
Good. And then what music are you listening to these days? Is there some local flavor of music that you really are appreciating?
Yeah, well, at the moment, actually, like I said earlier, my brother's actually made 5 songs, which he's going to release an album soon. So I'm not sure what his name's going to be. He's a very secretive guy. It took him I took 2 years to know that he could sing. Like, he's a really shy, really, he's the best clown in the family. Everyone loves my brother. He's amazing. So he's actually made some amazing songs, which I will release on social platforms in coming weeks, coming months. So it takes so long. So he's obviously my favorite artist. I have to say that. But I also love like Ed Sheeran. I've been loving him at the moment. I like a lot of old music. I like a lot of the 80s and 90s. I grew up with a lot of Elton John, Barry White, a bit of Elvis on my mom's side, and obviously I like the new stuff, of course. I like a lot of pop music, but yeah, anything really goes. I'm not fussy in that department. But my brother's music is going to be really cool. I'll tell you what, I'm trying not to be biased. I think it's fantastic, honestly. Yeah, so we'll see what happens.
Well, we'll be looking for it. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you. Absolutely.
So we wish you the best. And
thank you.
You have a good go at more training. I'm sure it's going to be a lot of lank workouts, huh?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. If I can just end off by sharing a quick story with you guys.
That'd be great.
The first time I actually went to the States properly, I was there for training camp in Florida before Olympics, but that was kind of just training. And, like I said, I developed a relationship with the guys there at the Hall of Fame pool, in Florida, Fort Lauderdale. But the time that I went to the States for a holiday, it was just before the World Championships, just after the World Championships in Windsor in Canada, right? So I actually went to New York. I was staying out with a friend there in Connecticut. Yeah, so I was staying out in Connecticut for 2 weeks just to acclimatize, and I went to see a family friend, and I went to one of the YMCAs, first time I'd heard of that. So I walked in there. This was right after Rio Olympics, and I walked in there, and I was in the change room, I was changing, and one of the guys said, "Hey, man, aren't you that South African guy that swam against Michael in London and got the medal?" I'm like, "Oh, yeah." I'm like, "Wow, this guy recognized me." I was like quite surprised, I'm like, "Oh, yeah." He's like, "Hey, great to meet you, man. Can I grab a picture?" And I'm like, "Hey, really good." He's like, "Oh, you training here?" And I was like, "Cool." And then he said to me, and I said, "I'm actually doing a time trial, 100 yards fly time trial on Friday." This was on Wednesday morning. And he said, "Oh, yeah, man. Can I bring my parents? They'd love to come see." And, it was amazing, right? So I'm like, "Oh, that'll be great. 4 or 5 people come to watch me. You won't believe what happened, right?" It was like 350 people watching me. I was like blown away. I was like in tears, but I was like, this is amazing. I couldn't believe how beautiful that was. I was literally signing for 2 hours afterwards. I had the club was, I think it was Water Rats, the Water Rats in Connecticut. Give a shout out to them if they're listening. It was I've actually still got their shirt they gave me. It was crazy. So some of the kids were there, but there was 300 people. I told one guy in the change room on the Wednesday afternoon, right? I came for early swim in the morning, and then just 2 days later, obviously word of mouth, they traveled, and I thought that was absolutely amazing to come in there and just see the support that the American public had, for not one of their own, but someone that came in there, just coming from a different country, came watch me swim. I swam a great time. I can't remember what it was, 44 low or something, but it was an official time, and it was just really beautiful to see. So, big shout out to all the Americans out there, especially all the, some of the supporters that I have there. I really enjoyed my time. I went to California afterwards, Newport Beach, Orange County. I spent 2 weeks there. I was in Vegas, popped over to Vegas for New Year's. So it was an amazing time for me to be there. So, yeah, I have really great memories there. So a big shout out to everyone there.
Thanks for that story. And you're a treasure to the world, and you'll be welcome here anytime, I'm sure.
I appreciate that.
Thanks,
Thank
Jeff.
you, sir. Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Say hi
be
to
safe.
Shout out to your team for me.
Best to your family.
Yeah, be safe. Hopefully we'll see each other soon. Take care, sir. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.